I know why I don't always press record right away, and that is because that's because I don't let the screen like register all the way. I don't let it register all the way, and here I am getting into a reading or a message or a little bit of both right away before I forget to do this. So I'm rummaging through my stones, and on one of the stones I saw a man, and he was digging in the clay. And then in another one I saw a man, and he was standing in what looked like a field, or maybe not, but he was standing against other, with, I saw like stones or pillars or corn stalks or trees or what have you, and he was looking up. So at first he had his hands in the clay and he was working. And then creating, sowing, working, worshiping, tilling the land, nurturing the soil, molding the clay. Mud sat up. Anyways, and so when he sat up, he was then looking up at the sky, and it looked like, to me, I want to say that he had both of his hands up to the sky, saying thank you. And then and as I was reading these stones, of course, there's something playing in the background, because I can't ever just be with my own thoughts, because otherwise, if I'm with my own thoughts, I want to tell you all about them, because I think like, hey, I never thought about it like that. That's a really good, thought process. That's a really good nugget of wisdom, or pocket of knowledge that I could maybe put into experience, or maybe I could accept as being in this world, or of this world, but that I don't have to accept any longer being in my reality. Like, that's or maybe it's something that I want to see in my reality, like with these stones. I've worked. I've toiled the soil. I've tilled the soil. I've toiled the sowing of the plants. I've put the love and nurture into my creation, and now I want to say thank you, regardless of what it looks like. Thank you. Thank you. I may be but surrounded by cement and brick and mortar and tin and gravel. But when I look up, I see the beauty of the sky. And thank you for the beauty of the sky. For I remember that because of you, the sun goes down, and every morning it rises again. Thank you. This breath may not taste like the most fresh and nostril clear breath, because I've spilt my pee bucket. Anyways, so I have not so rosy smelling stuff in my nostrils, and I may be surrounded by cement and brick and mortar and fire and brimstone. But there sometimes are clouds in the sky, and I know that those clouds will bring rain, and that rain will water my crops. And I know that I'm still working. I just don't have to worship money. I can worship you. I'm still toiling for you, Lord. Thank you. I wish I could plant an entire garden on top of this cement slab, but this is not all my territory, This is not my home. This is the corner of heaven that I am creating for right now until my home can be manifested. Because so far I've been manifesting my past, and that's no longer what we do here. We say thank you for everything. Thank you for the tin box that keeps me safe from the elements. Thank you from, I'm sorry, Baba, you're not a tin box. Thank you for the vehicle or the meat suit. The vehicle included, I'm not. Or the AI or the phone, the computer, the technology that you're listening to me on right now. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, man. Thank you, creator being that did this for us. You know, thank you, Mr. Ford, President Ford, and so on and so forth. Vice President Ford, all the Fords. Thank you, Chevys, all the Chevys. You know what I mean? Thank you. You know that Subaru, their stars on the Subaru sign are the Pleiades. Like, big ups to the Pleiades, yo. You know what I mean? That's why this is a forbidden fruit. It's big ups to the knowledge. Now we go experience. Knowing that God's watching. And yet not being ashamed. Because he's done seen me naked. He's seen me jacking it in the shower. You know what I mean? Like reference to it. Another video, sorry. But he's seen these things. And he's watched this portrayal of my personality. Or that personality. That past personality. And maybe I'm still going to jack it again in the shower. It doesn't matter. That's not a sin. It's just weird. But I mean, if we don't have to be like, dear Lord, please bless this marital this self-copulation that I'm going to have. Please, you know, and I'm thinking about some man in a cloud. I don't know. There's all types of magic, folks, okay? There's all types of magic, and he's there, and he's listening, and he's there, and he's listening, and he's there, and he's listening. Like, create your own creations. What are they? What are you birthing? What are you purging? What are you, so you got your one big manifestation that you got a long journey to, or like that's your life is but a dream, the joy is in the journey. But then what about what about this little side project you got going on, sweetie? What about this little side project you got going on? We've all got something we got to do. I play hide and seek with myself all the time. I have no idea who's talking to you right now. I'm saying this is Crashy Vibes Forbidden Fruits, but I can't remember who the hell is in charge right now. Somebody's behind the driver's wheel and they've got something to tell you. And they love you. Or they wouldn't be telling you because they wouldn't give a fuck about your betterment or my betterment, because I need to hear this because I'm not going to remember what the hell I just said in 5 minutes. So, I mean, there it is. One way or another. It's called a channel. It's called a transmission. It's called a reading. It's called a message. Message! It's called a message for a reason. I can't deliver you, but the word can deliver you, right? Yes, we've had deliverance. Yes. Squeal like a pig. I don't know. Howl at the moon. Do whatever you gotta do. But you're okay. You're not fucking up. Even when you're fucking up, you're not fucking up. There's no way you can get this wrong. It's your life. You can't get it wrong. Now you can, I feel I sound exactly like Ariel. You can fuck around and find out. You can commiserate with the misery. You can let your energy get sucked. And by the way, please notate, I hope that everybody hears this, because my energy stays with you. Your energy stays with me. We're just intermingling in the atmosphere right now, and we're all going to go back to our own little self-personal people puppets. We're all going to go back to our own personal meat suits when this is all said and done. So it's not like I'm trying to siphon from anybody. No. I give you energy, you give me energy, we exchange energies, and then when I say goodbye, I say love you, I say take care, the video stops, the recording stops, the transmission stops, you go with your entire being that came here with you, and I go with my entire being that came here to give you this message with me. And I'm not saying that we don't get, that the frequency doesn't go up. But it certainly shouldn't go down. And if it does go down, well, that's something that we all need to look at the end anyways. Or and that's the whole reason for the reading anyway. Because we're here to heal. We can't heal ourselves by hearing our own voice and hearing what we have to tell ourselves, or me telling you, or us speaking as a collective. Then we can't handle the truth. If we can't handle the truth, is that Jack Nicholson? I swear on. Or is it fucking Tom Cruise? I'm sure they're both in the movie. I don't even know what movie it is. But if we can't handle the truth, then what the hell are we doing here? What the hell? Again, just boop. We can't help it. It's a phrase. It's a phrase, but we can help it because we know we can. This is always supposed to be in our best good. Every message. I shouldn't be name dropping. Like, I can't help but name drop because I feel like I'm telling a story to my best friend. So I'm just, and so and his sister and their cousin and name dropping. I don't mean to. I really don't mean to. My family is amazing, and they're amazing because they are my family and because they are what's going to help me help you. You know what I mean? They are what's helping me heal so I can help you heal. And hopefully one of these days, and I'm not saying, oh gosh, I made a video earlier. It's like, well, they're only here because they're not healed by me. Okay. So no, like there's a lot of miscongenialities. I'm here. There's a lot of I'm speaking contrary sometimes because we have a lot of contrarians out there. There's a lot of contrary beliefs. Like, I believe that God is not a sky daddy and this and this and that. He's a source of all things good and holy, good and whole. And yet at the same time, I also want to believe that he is a man in the sky and that transgender people are wrong. He's wrong for making the angels and he's wrong for making transgender people. We are evolving, motherfuckers. It's called evolution, not devolution, right? But there's evolution. It doesn't mean that I'm not speaking of devils or demons. I'm speaking of going backwards. I'm speaking of de-evolving or revolving, which is what we've been doing, telling the same stories over and over and over again, expecting different results, the doldrums of the demiurge again. I mean, we're not gonna drown in fucking water. We're just, honestly, he's being the nicest. They are being the nicest they've ever been, and we're just getting like a hey, Krista, are you paying attention? Hey, Ms. Antonio, my 5th grade teacher made my life a living fucking hell. And I have no idea what I ever did to that bitch. I have not a clue. But that happens all the time, doesn't it? Like, you make enemies that you don't even know are your enemies until you find out what they said to so-and-so and said so-and-so and so-and-so told so-and-so. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I don't even really know that person. Or you see them and you run into them and then they like, oh yeah. And they're going to call you later on that day and you never hear from them again. And that's okay because we are not attaching to people, places, or things. We are not detaching from people, places, or things. We are just reattaching to ourselves, to our innermost being, because within is that spark, is that feel-good medicine that we need, that only we know how to give to us. We can't ask someone else on the outside of us to know exactly what we need. Even if we're telling them exactly what we need, we're not speaking their language. A lot of times we are not speaking their language. And even if we are speaking their language, because it is supposed to be our challenge and our sacrifice and our cross bearing, they cannot understand, nor can they step in. And sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. And I want to say that for a lot of you that are listening to me in this early stepping stone, that I'm actually like whereas I'm producing videos and I'm not showing you my face. I mean, in the earlier ones, I probably was showing my face. I was showing the cards. I was showing the background of my house. I was all a tither. I was real excited. I was making extra money on the outflow of this channel, even if I wasn't making money on the inflow of this channel. It was bringing people around me more. I was more connected to my community. I was helping others help me. And then I went outside of myself to seek comfort and to seek companionship and to seek connection. And I forget I don't need any connection. But then I did it again. It was like that one only lasted a real short time. And then I did it again. And that one lasted a longer time and had a lot worse repercussions. A lot. The repercussions were a lot fucking harder. We've already learned this lesson. We have everything we need within us. And within us is where He doesn't just feed the birds. He flourishes. He overfills the cup. But you don't always want to have an overflowing cup, because then you get distracted and you want to give everywhere. So even if it is like difficult to do so, I know you want to give it out to the people that aren't giving back to you, but instead give it back to your community. Give it back to the areas in which case you know are asking for the help. Do not try to help those that, although they're begging for help, are telling you you ain't the type of help they're looking for. Or you're trying to help those that refuse to ask for help because they just don't need it. They got this shit and they don't want any more trouble from you, because if you start the forest fire, that whole state, that whole town, that whole house is going to go up in flames. And I have no idea what I just said there, really, honestly. But this is... Please make sure that you keep your energy calm, cool, and collected, not collective. Collected, because we are a part of a connected. We are a part of the collective. There we go. And it's like the butterfly effect. And you don't have to believe it's true. I mean, shit was scientifically proven, and yet somehow we just didn't want to believe it was scientifically proven, so therefore it's not real. Like, we do evolve, people. I'm not saying that what it says in the Bible is not true either. It's both and. It's both and. And both, not and or. Not one or the other, and I keep saying and or both. But it's all three, actually, to be honest with you. It's all three of them. And then some. And you have no idea, because you can't take the perspective of all that is. You can't know your truth and their truth from the eyes of just you. Now your third eye can, but you can't prove it. And shit, half the time you can't prove what the hell you're doing either. So, just show it by improving. And the only way you can prove anything is to the only way you can prove anything is to improve. And I believe that would be considered impressing upon. Improvement. Impressing your proof. Am I right or am I right? I mean, we talking about apples or oranges? I'm pretty sure they're both fruits here. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure if you check the basket, there's also some blueberries and some strawberries, and they're all fruits. I mean, come on. There's dingleberries in there too, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. Go ahead and look. That fruit could come from nectar, pollen, the dance or the lovemaking of plants and animals and bees, and we're talking about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and the moon up above and the thing we call love. And that was really bad. But what I'm saying here, okay, so listening to Snow Raven, yes, here we go. I finally got to the damn 20 minutes later. 21 minutes later and some odd change, I'm finally listening to Snow Raven. I was listening to somebody else, listening to a different voice in my head, beyond the voice in my head that blathers onto you about some nonsense epiphany that makes no sense to you because it's only made to make sense for me. And maybe some of you will remember and be like, oh my God, bitch knows what she's talking about. And some of you will be like, bitch is crazy. I don't care. I was listening to Snow Raven and she was talking about how there's 3 worlds. And one is the fear. The second one is love. And the third is gratitude. And in shamanism, in her culture, and she is from Siberia, in her culture, the shamans were able to balance and blend and mix and intertwine all 3 of those worlds, balance them, and evenly distribute them throughout the community to, give messages, etc., etc. They could tell you when there was going to be a hunter coming back from a kill. They could tell you where the kill was instead of having to track. They could, the causal and effectual realms, they had control over those, or not control, but they had the ability to tap into those. And then the realm of all the realms, okay? She said that there was 12 realms of intellect outside of Earth that they could also collect or connect to, which would be a part of the 3rd realm, which was of the gratitude. And I don't know, extraterrestrials, what have you, the ethers. But fear. And if you don't know what a shaman is, and you see some man, like, all of a sudden turn his head almost 360 degrees like an owl, and then, hoo-hoo, I can't, hoo-hoo, at you, out of nowhere, around a fire, dancing like madmen, flapping their wings, and, hey, how are you? I used to sing when I burp her, hey, how are ya? Hey, how are you? It's like Snow Raven. And one of my first totem animals is the raven. And man, we're eating good in the neighborhood, Applebee's. Food for thought. That's all I'm trying to bring, food for thought. You don't have to... I'm not trying to impress anything upon you. I'm just trying to prove what I have experienced, and so therefore I believe I know, which has now become wisdom, and I'm trying to creatively express that wisdom. I'm not just trying to make, I'm not just trying to make, there's got to be a piece of glass in my sleeve because I think I'm bleeding. Anyways, that doesn't matter. Sorry, blood and water, whatever. I lost it because of my sleeve is wet, but I have not touched anything wet. And so and I know there was something poking at me in my sleeve. So through the imagination, do we create? And we're not just building up bullshit like clay jars. We're creating entire thought forms and energy patterns and spiraling segments of time, and we're a part of the big pattern that is a part of our smaller fractals of patterns. Understood, but we want to be able to step back away from the tapestry and see that what we have weaved through our spiral patterns was honestly just this glorious, beautiful, all-inclusive, just awe-inspiring tapestry of anything and everything you could ever imagine or explain, and all the things that bring joy. And we've moved away from being afraid of the darkness, and we've started working with the darkness, because people have been afraid of the dark for a long time. It is ingrained into our DNA to be afraid of what we do not know, of what we cannot see. We've had to adjust our senses to the night and to always be alert. And it's not that way anymore. We only need to be curious. We don't need to be afraid, because curiosity will bring intelligence. Fear will bring ignorance. Curiosity didn't kill the cat. Curiosity created the individualized personality that the cat can be. That, yes, it is somewhat detached, but at the same time it is grateful. It will be loyal. However, it will also be a witness. And if it witnesses something that it does not see fitting, it will flee. Dogs will be loyal no matter what. You could beat that dog senseless. And there's a point, but there is a point. I mean, I've seen my parents' dog. And how my mom has to order her to go with her dad, even when he's calling her and like, come on. And he's doing exactly what she wants to do, which is go down to the field and go for a walk or what have you. And she will not go with him. She does not want to go with him. But she will. She will if my mom tells her to, because she's loyal to my mom. Because my mom hasn't whipped the shit out of her senseless for no reason at all. Now, that's not to say that she won't more than likely and almost guaranteed protect my dad against someone if that other person isn't somebody she knows. But I highly doubt she would protect my dad if it was somebody she knew and loved that decided that he needed to be taught what for with the same treatment he gives the dog. And I don't know where this even came from. I don't know why we're still like because we were talking about shaman and how sometimes we have to lose our minds to regain our wisdom. And that's exactly what a shaman does. They lose their programmed or they're no longer just knowing of what the shaman before them have said or have warned about or have witnessed. They have experienced things that would what's the word I'm looking for? Challenge your grasp on reality and whether or not you have one. Do you have a firm grasp on reality? No, not really, because it's an upside down world. Everything is upside down. There's so much cognitive dissonance and so much confusion. And you can't convince people of that. You just can't. You can't do it by yourself. And that's why it takes a village. It takes a village, but if that village, is poisoning and poisoning and poisoning the people, well, then within the people there needs to be a rise up and a collaboration for an antidote. And sometimes that is, well, the people and the things that they fear. Mental illness, addiction, homelessness, lack of prosperity, let's say, or lack of steady employment, lack of a reputation. And all of a sudden I wanted to start talking like an Irishman or an Irish woman. I wanted to go Irish again. It's been a while since I went Irish. Holy cow. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. And I don't want to go in there because there's a whole nother... She gets real loud. She gets real loud. She gets real boisterous. And we don't... We're in a storage unit. There might be other people that need to have the shelter of these tin cans. So we don't want to start a riot, you know? And... I mean, maybe we're also a Minnesotan, because I just said, and now we're all over the place because it comes in and it's so subtle. And you can't, there ain't a damn thing. Or is there a damn thing? Here comes someone. I'm going to let you go. I love you so much. I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining me here. I am grateful. I do appreciate you. And I'll raise my hands to you. I love you. Bye.